Okay, so I'll let you know when to start. Okay. Let's see. I think there's usually a delay here, so we're going to wait a second. All right. There it is. All right. Hello and welcome to the first event of Cards and Consoles. This is an all-day event. I'm sure all of you are very excited, and if you are on our webpage, you are in the right place because it has a list of everything. If you are finding us on YouTube, just going to tell you really quick some of the upcoming events. At 12 o'clock, we have an Among Us gameplay on Discord for teens. At 1 o'clock, we are doing a Magic the Gathering all ages tutorial, which will be here. By the way, Ryan is the one on the screen, but he is not the one talking. I am the one talking. I'm Garrett. A lot of you may remember me from last night's trivia. Anyway, at 1 o'clock, we have our Magic the Gathering tutorial. That will also be on YouTube, so you can kind of check out the page and it'll appear there. And then from 3 to 5 for teens, we also have a Rocket League game as well. And then we also have a bunch of other programs. Check out Cards and Consoles, the page there, lfpl.org/cards and consoles, for all the other fun stuff. With no further ado, like I said, we have Ryan here. He is our speedrunner of the day, and he is going to give us some tips and tricks on how to beat Mario with 16 stars? 16 stars. And let me know when to hit start, and we will begin.
All right.
Ready?
Here we go. So, by no means a professional speedrunner. So there will be some mishaps.
Sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We are here to teach you. We are an educational organization so that you can then beat the record.
And all these can be done except for the stairs in the new Switch game.
Yeah. We tested that out. By we, I mean you. Tested that out in the new Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which came out on the Switch. So if you got that instead, everything except the stair trick, which Ryan will show us at some point, can be done on that. I'm going to move the timer away from you. Yeah. There's one thing I know about all the speedruns that I've watched is that they do a lot of long jumps.
Yeah.
It's
quick away from it.
Yeah.
But if you hit the wall,
not so much.
So the main key is to try to get the quickest stars in the game, like right away, the quickest way possible. Now, there is another glitch here that I'm not going to do. It's a little bit more complicated with a bomb. But if you just pick up this brick and head over towards the gate, and instead of doing the chain chomp, because if you do the chain chomp, it's going to do this long animation. Whereas if you get to this box just right, where you see that little bar behind you, and just squeeze behind the gate, don't collect the first star.
Nice. And that's a trick that I think you'll use later on too with the bunny.
Yeah, it
Right,
just it doesn't know where to displace Mario, so
Yeah. And Ryan gave me homework before the event of a YouTube video that clearly explains all the glitches, which is actually very fascinating, so that I could help explain all of that.
there you go.
Got your 1 star, so now you can go into the 1 star door.
A lot of time is just moving from one place to the other. You do when you start the stage, you want to make sure you press Z. It cancels out one of the flips. I don't know why. No need to do that. These first two are called the cannon-less stars. So instead of getting the ball bomb to get you to open up the cannon and aim and do all that, you just do that quick flip. The next one is a little bit more difficult.
I think I will say, if for any first-timers who are watching for tips, don't expect to be able to do all of this on your first try. Ryan has had many, many, many hours of practice. I know, because he'll just send me his times.
Although, oddly enough, I never owned this game as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See if I can get this right. Yes.
Where
So
does...
that one we'll get back to at the end, and I'll re-explain how to get that. It's just a series of pressing left, right, this or the other.
Yeah. I mean, most of the speedrun is manipulating glitches. And there is like a where you speedrun and you get all 120 stars. There's also one that I learned from this video that Ryan sent me to do the bare minimum stars, which is 70, and then there's the 1 star, there's a 16 star, and there's a 0 star. And today we are doing the 16 star. There's another glitch where you can jump through him.
And it's not just with that, though, with the chain chomp, too. If he's coming at you, if you do the flip right and then at the top, then you're good. Yeah, the one that was hidden in the wall is just getting your hitbox with the star's hitbox just right.
Just right. Which is also like why you stand on the pillar and just punch. Like,
yes.
That was on purpose, so that you align yourself just right. And
because you can just veer off to the left, but it's doing everything I did, just lines it up ever so perfectly. Had a trouble with this one earlier. Yep. Ooh.
I'm trying not to like talk too much because I don't want to distract Ryan, but
Okay. I need a distraction there.
if anybody has any questions or wants clarification or anything, type it into the YouTube chat and we will get to it as soon as we can. Might not be right away, but
Oh, this is just too much right now.
we have one person who says that you should do the 0 star, but I'm going to say no.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, that is a very tricky thing to do.
There's a lot of them that I was looking at that video and I'm like, I don't know how anyone can do that.
You have got to get it just right. And there is a way to do this next one without getting the bird. But if it saves like 0.2 seconds or something like that.
Oh,
So
maybe
if
not
you do
worth
it wrong once, then what are you doing?
It's very rude of the bird to just drop you from that height.
I think I like it.
Oh, okay. Then that's on you. One thing about the Super Mario that always freaked me out was how all the toads that give you tips and tricks are faded like ghosts until you get closer.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Oh.
No, that's not.
Oh. I assumed it had something to do
Sure
with
is.
frame rate, but
Now, the reason you can't do the stair glitch right off the bat, I didn't realize, but that's because the whole top part of the game is not loaded until you get to the It's not there.
it's almost like a load screen, or a new load screen, right? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about things I don't really know. I think the other thing too, I was playing a different game and just remembering that, oh yeah, the Nintendo 64 is not a finely tuned controller like we have now.
No. Yeah, it's widely like people do this as a speed run.
Yeah.
The camera angles and everything. That's why I don't think I played this too, because it is very different than any other game.
Oh yeah. I remember spending, I would have to like stop in the middle of the game to change the camera angle because I couldn't see.
So you can actually jump off again to the next part of this, the slide. So,
Yeah.
but that's just a little bit more difficult. So that's probably about the easiest way. Just right off the bat, just go straight to the right and hit release that.
I did have to look away because it was a little bit nerve-wracking.
I'm going slow because earlier I was practicing and just started to go for that start and just ran straight off for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Like I
I'm
said,
being a little bit more cautious then.
nobody expect to just immediately start speed running right after you watch this video because it does take a lot of practice.
There's some things we'd want to practice on the long jump, I'm sure. I'm not doing that.
That was not on purpose.
That's why you want to practice long
You're
jump.
right, yes.
So I'm not going to learn from this time. Get very nervous around this.
And Ryan does all this for fun, and so, you know, by no means any records or anything. He clearly has studied for it, but if you go on and you find people who have like the records, it is very fascinating to watch. A little bit mind-boggling.
I feel like I have not been nervous as far as doing this until I get my first step. Oh,
I can see why.
Try to go back and do this. So if you get it just right with the second jump on there, I'll try it one more time. If not, we'll move on. But if you get the second jump on a flat spot and you're building momentum going forward, and get the third jump on the hill. I'm gonna have to do it later, so I'm just gonna move along for now.
Yeah.
I have to in another spot. Then you don't have to hit that switch. You just go straight on that.
Which does save you jumping time. Alright, first Bowser. This is one reason why I couldn't play this game, is how hard the Bowser fights were. You really had to angle them perfectly.
This way?
Yeah.
Slow down. There it is.
There, nice.
Yeah, that's definitely the trickiest thing. For me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, even as a kid, taking my time, I couldn't. I could never get that.
It's very tricky. It's definitely, I don't know the, I should say science behind it, but on old CRT TVs, it's actually easier to line it up. So just a slight delay with the remote switch to
Oh, yeah.
TV.
Yeah, I I'm sure, I don't know, I'm sure it had something to do with maybe like the curve of the TV and all of that too, where it's like, it was built for those type of TVs, not for flat screen.
So if anybody knows, throw it in the chat.
Yeah. So we have somebody asking if you're playing an actual N64. He is playing an actual N64 that we have routed through a laptop. So there is a mild delay.
It makes it a little trickier.
Which, yeah, does make it a little bit trickier. But we do have an old N64 right here on the table.
We actually have 3.
Yes.
Backup on backup on backup.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we were going to be prepared.
So this one's pretty simple. Get the red coins here. I feel like I've not been explaining all the stars quite much, but some are definitely a little bit more self-explanatory than others.
Yeah, and that was one thing about, well, most Mario games, is that there's like easy stars, and then there's a curve, and they get more difficult. So there are a handful of stars that you can get much, much easier, even if that means skipping levels. As we found out, the exception to that is Mario Sunshine, which starts off very hard, and for some reason gets easier.
So in speedrunning, sometimes you will have to do things like this, like yourself, just to go a little bit quicker.
It doesn't matter.
Go all the way across the stage just to get to him.
Yeah. Because as soon as you get your star, you heal anyway, so.
Yeah. You want to try to do a ground pound before getting the star, because it cancels out going above your star and back down. Again, saves just a few seconds, but
in speedrunning,
no one's going for records.
I was gonna say, in speedrunning, it's all about finding those shortcuts, even if it's just a few seconds and they add up.
So that was the build momentum with the third jump to get over all of that.
You just skipped, like, going all the way around.
Alright now.
Nice.
So that
Okay, yeah.
you kind of see, it didn't go above the star and back down. It just,
Immediately make you fall.
yeah. No problem. So this is the spot, like I said, I've got to do it here. Or else. We're going here. You want to try that?
No. Leave it up to the experts.
Don't say it.
Yeah, the key to that is like Ryan said, is to get it on the flat. There's the lights. Okay.
The second one has to be on the flat level ground.
Yeah.
Then you're able to do the third jump, and then after the third jump, you can start jumping again.
Yeah. And it's just building that momentum, but the second jump has to be on the flat.
So we're down to the much easier stars, but then there's 2 Bowsers to go through.
Alright, if we have any other speedrunners, feel free to comment on the YouTube to tell us what your record is.
And what games? Yeah.
And what games? What games do you play if you don't play this one? Or if you're here just to learn, let us know that.
Okay, another pretty straightforward one. This one's hiding up here, and you usually would just have have to go to another part of the map and then on the second level and jump across there, but they're quick. That's one of the things, as far as long jumps practicing, that flip backwards jump.
And wall jumps, it seems,
Yes,
come in
but
very
that's very much key.
It's never great for long jumps.
And backwards long jumps. Because that's the key to the storage room.
Oh yeah. Which we'll get to.
The reason this next glitch works is because in the floor below, they forgot to program a ceiling. And I missed that, so this is going to be cinnamon talking.
Definitely saw how that worked.
Yeah, there is no ceiling program to this, so it just phases straight through. And usually I would jump straight up on that platform and not have to do any of this. Come on. Yeah. Usually it would fall straight through beyond that. The star would be done.
Yeah.
This is a tutorial, so
Yeah.
I was trying to show something that can go wrong.
Yeah. We want to make sure everybody knows.
Did not mean to do that.
No, that was part of the tutorial as
Again,
well.
that can happen.
Yeah. But you can always.
Can exit course, but it will take you all the way back there. However, that will be important later on.
Oh, good.
So again, all on purpose.
Yeah.
So this is a, like I said, a 16-star run. Oh, yeah, that went really well. Because that's all you would get. But you don't care about this star. It's just gonna stay there.
If you get the star, that it'll warp you back somewhere else, or the bunny gets
no,
away,
I think you can get it. At first I thought that the bunny would go away. But you want the bunny, and get right in that crevice of this door, and press Z. Right where that little black line is. And I'm not doing it, so... There you go. And you're kind of halfway in, halfway out. You're going to be able to pick him up, turn around, put him on the other side of the door, go through the door, and there we go. He is not supposed to be in here. And this is what we were talking about earlier, is you couldn't just use him to go to the final door because it's not loaded yet until you get that key. Uh-oh. No, I don't need 30 stars.
There you go. So basically, from what I was learning, why that is possible is because it displaces Mario, because the rabbit has basically a sphere around it, or a cylindrical thing around it, so that when Mario puts him down, it's like, well, Mario can't be that close to the rabbit. I don't know. I could be getting that wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's definitely better details, and I don't think I could explain it any better. But it just, the game doesn't know where to displace him because there is a hidden hitbox and detection box that's used on both Mario and the rabbit.
Right, and so they kind of clash, and in order to compensate for that, they move Mario. If I'm remembering correctly. Bowser Submarine.
Dire.
Oh, okay.
What's that the name of the stage?
I think so. Dire Docks. This is one of my least favorite levels.
Well,
even just playing through it.
Mine too, because...
Yeah, and there was a bit of a lag going on. Buffering, probably.
Yeah, this is the way to, instead of going around, hit the switches, and there's a big maze of things you have to do here. Oh gosh. Which will probably be quicker than how this is going. But This is probably one of the, for me at least, hardest to hit because you gotta get it just right. There's not much momentum.
And there's not really any flat surface either with that second jump like you were talking about earlier.
I mean, even that, where you're at here.
Professionally. Give it one more go. And then...
But it's been so long, I don't even know if I know how to do it that way. Oh.
We're good. And as many goes as you want, I should say.
Yeah.
Again, we're not beating any records today. We're showing you how to do it. Hey! I shouldn't clap right next to the mic, sorry. Everybody.
Well,
16.
there's your 16 star. You just have to beat Bowser 2 more times. Here's me. Not, uh-oh. I'm just gonna wait there. Are you kidding me? He's a bully.
We have somebody who would like to know, when you get a chance,
Sure.
how you found all these glitches and everything. YouTube
When I started speedrunning this 2 years ago, I actually didn't look up any. I knew kind of about the stair glitch, and right there you can actually wall jump and do it quicker, but I'm not the greatest, especially since I'm explaining something like that. But what was I saying?
where you learned that. We can answer that later,
Yeah,
too.
so I started playing it just like without trying to find the fastest stars. I knew about this stair glitch, but I didn't know about the 16 stars. I was just like, I'm going to try to get, what is it, 40, there's a certain number that you can get. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah. And remember, for everybody watching, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I maybe will write them down and ask later.
Alright, so I'll get to one of the key things I did earlier. Is you walk through the star and jump in the lava, and your health will keep on regenerating just a little bit, so it'll give you time to kind of jump to the next stage. Here's a demonstration. I'll have to go up just a bit, and then I meant to actually jump one more.
So, wait, why did your health go?
If you hit the star, it wants to regenerate your health for like a while, not like.
Oh.
So
you mean
the
heart?
If you get hit, yeah, the heart. And if you get hit right afterwards, it's still regenerating
Gotcha.
your missing heart, so you can use that to kind of do some skips on some lava. It's good I didn't hit that second lava yet. There's that. Oh gosh, it's crazy mistake. Doing that for a while. Usually I would try to control it right now.
You grabbed it before he was able to do that.
That was not ideal.
Again, this was not an easy thing from what I remember, even not speedrunning it.
Ah, passed it.
It was close. This is actually the second boss fight. Somebody said, whoa, we're already in a boss fight. Yep. This is the second one. Not counting the mini bosses. like the Womp guy.
There we go. So that question earlier. So I started just trying to beat it as quickly as possible, not using any glitches, and then learned about the 16 star, and then kept on just playing other stages. This is where you'd want to jump into the stage
Exit course.
just to back out, because you're trapped in there without, the door won't open unless you have 30 stars. So just jump back into the stage and get out.
Right.
Back to that question for the the third time. But yeah, then I did look up some YouTube tutorials, and just kind of learned of what's quicker. These aren't necessarily all of the quickest ones, but they're probably the easiest to start with. There's in one of the snow stages, you can actually just like jump off the side of the stage, do one kick, and it'll bring you back in a little bit, and then you can get a star over there. But it is ruthlessly hard to do. So that is the stair glitch.
Yes, and the explanation that I was reading is basically there is a momentum cap going forward, so you can't just like continually go faster and faster and faster. It'll stop at like, 45 or whatever. But they did not put that cap on going backwards. Therefore, you can do things like skip ahead, and because the momentum keeps going and going and going, the game is always trying to predict where you're going to be, even if that is in a place that you are not supposed to be.
Right.
So
you're
that's
not
stair
crashing
tripping.
through a wall.
Right.
It just thinks like, oh, the next place you're supposed to be is on that other side of the wall because you're going so fast.
Right. And so it's that stair trick, I think, is probably one of the more vital for speedrunning the 16 or fewer. And it's a tricky one too.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's super easy just to pick up and do.
Ooh,
Got it.
nice.
So yeah, the stair glitch is the only thing of what I've done today that you cannot do in the Switch version. So unfortunately, you would not be able to just quickly beat the game. But you could get, so get to the second Bowser.
Yeah. And you would need a 30 star, I think, at that point, right? To be able to go to the next. No.
To get to the endless staircase, I think it is 70 is the minimum.
So you'd have to get this.
But to get to the second Bowser, it's 30. And you don't need it.
Right.
With all those others, you can pick up the rabbit. You can do all that. Then the pirates, mess that up. So.
Yeah.
And we're at the very end and don't want to jeopardize it.
We definitely have another speedrunner watching the tutorial because they know all the jargon, the BLJB, which is the
backwards long jump.
Yeah, backwards long jump something.
So there's one that's to the side and one that's
Yeah, there's a. Well, you don't have to do anything. BLJ, yeah. Backwards long jump.
not what I want to do. So fire and some of those come towards me, so I'm gonna grab them for a while. Fortunately, I have just 2 more times, at least 15, in this game. Can catch him just a little bit beforehand. Oh goodness, I didn't catch him, so I just went ahead and threw him, so I didn't want to catch on fire.
Oh, there we go.
I'm thinking.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, you had him lined up.
I did. That's what I'm talking about with the camera angles. It's just,
Ooh, all right.
I have to do it again. What
That's
time are we at now at this point?
You don't mind.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, we're at 15 minutes.
Not likely.
Oh,
This is just so quick.
nice.
I like it.
Very good.
Do it again.
Right next. Oh, hey! What about everybody in the room? There's more than just me and Ryan. Everybody's getting into it now, I think.
Such anxiety. No, come on.
I was asking how long it would take to play a normal run, and I think the answer is about 13 hours is the average. If you're just playing casually.
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're doing all 120 stars,
Yeah.
or you can finish the game with just 7, so you can kind of pick and choose. It is, and the time will stop as soon as I would touch this star. So not quite yet. It is.
36 minutes and 30 seconds, not bad.
Not bad.
That's not
Well, I usually, this week in practice, I've been under 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think you messaged me when you, what is it, 27?
My best time probably is about 27 minutes.
Not bad. We're just going to watch
So,
Mario
did we
fly.
have any other questions? I'll kind of get back to the game here in a second and show how to do some of the things.
Yeah, so we have some questions here. Let's see. Let's see here. How did you find all the tips and tricks? You answer that one?
YouTube on some of them, just playing through it myself as well. Like some stages, just the slide stage on the winner stage.
Mm-hmm.
Just went to the right and jumped off, and
You're like, hey.
hey, that's quicker.
Do you have a favorite time-saving glitch or trick?
I do. It's the one where there is, they forgot to put the ceiling,
Oh, yeah.
and the thing squashes you down, and you just go boop, and straight on into there. And if you aim it up correctly, which I didn't do this time around, you could just fall straight on it and stop.
Yeah. Well, I think that one is particularly funny to me because in any modern game, if something squashes you, you take damage. And in this one, they were like, nope, you're just going to fall straight through.
Right. If they had put the ceiling on there, you probably it would have crushed you and probably hurt you there. But
Yeah. Somebody wants to know why the hearts are transparent. I guess the ones that you run into.
That I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume that it's so that you could still kind of see the
See around
yeah,
what's going on.
so it's not just
in the
blocking the
environment.
view. And there's the lights again. Somebody's asking how long it would take for a normal play, and again, you kind of said.
Yeah, probably a couple hours if you're just going through getting 70 stars, and it also depends on if you're trying to go for fast, if you're trying to like much more casually play through them.
Yeah. I think the average that I saw was like 13, and I assume that is like people who are really going through meticulously and getting all the stuff they need to.
Right. So if you are considering getting in and trying to practice this one as a speed run, I'd almost suggest first. This is just what I did: is jumping in and just playing some of the stages, not necessarily these specific stars, because then you'll get into a routine of doing it a certain way or one way or the other. But going through stages and trying to play them as fast as you can. The first stage where you would race the turtle, and just because then you get the movement of the game, doing backwards flips here and there in different environments will help you get it down to where like when you need to know how to do it and do it each time if the camera's a little, again that camera angle, if it's a little bit different. And that's something too, is the camera angles, because sometimes you need it to trigger it one way, or sometimes you need to trigger the other way to get those glitch stars, which we'll jump into here in just a bit if you want to.
Oh yeah. Let's see. We have one more that's asking how long you've been playing Mario and how long have you been practicing speed running in general.
In general, speed running probably. I started with this game about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't quite remember. But I've done a few other ones since then, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, and actually Mega Man 1 as well.
All the Mega Man.
All the Mega Man. Most of the Marios, the first one, second one, third one, Super Mario World.
And you enjoy playing this isn't quite speedrunning, but the Mario 35 that's on the Switch, where it's like you're playing against a bunch of people.
I think unfortunately they're going to take it down after the 35th, because it's just for the 35th anniversary. But yes, having 35 different players and playing that first Mario. But it's interesting because you jump into that game. I've sped run that game. I'm actually able to play the first one with the controller flipped behind my back.
Oh wow.
Just because I got so, I'm like, how can I make this more complicated? Try and do like normal speedrun in that version, and you can't. You have to play it a whole other way, which is kind of neat, but it's sad that they'll take it off.
I'm trying to think of any of the others that I've seen you do, but I think it's mostly Mario and Mega Man.
Yeah, mostly Mario and Mega Man. I would be interested at some point to try Portal. It's a short game to begin with, and if you know the puzzles.
The first Portal?
Either really, because I think they both have their glitches that will save time. I like doing Mega Man ones. I do without any kind of glitches, but both are kind of fun in their own right.
Yeah, but the Mega Man games are hard regardless. So no glitches or glitches.
You want to hit that reset button?
Oh yeah, there we go. And you were going to show us a few.
Yeah, I'll go back to that one that was kind of confusing as far.
We are getting somebody who wants you to play Waluigi's Taco Stand next. So if
I don't have that with me.
You don't have that one with you.
I don't
okay, unfortunately.
But maybe that's next year.
Maybe if Nintendo ever gets that game going.
Somebody did take this game and used all the sprites and. Although I don't think there's technically sprites in this game.
The models.
But there you go, the models. And made a full-fledged Waluigi's Taco Stand game.
Oh, it's an actual...
Yes, it's a game. It was not released by Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
It was a joke at the time, because it was like, oh, there's that... You remember that Waluigi game for 64?
Right.
Which never technically existed. But somebody else.
Okay, and you're going to show one of the trickier moments?
Yeah, I'm going to show the canonless glitch, step by step. Played it right the first time. So this is the one where I said with the camera angle, you have to press down. on that the C-pad,
Yeah. See that?
or else this won't work because it just has to be lined up ever so carefully. Now I could just veer off after that last coin to the left and get it, but that is so hard to do correctly. Now, who in the world realized that you could do this set of combinations? You want to get to the edge here, get as close as you can to this. You don't want to clip through it like that. So, somehow too close. See how it kind of pushed me a little bit after jumping? That would be about the right, as close as you can get where you're not clipping into it. Backwards flip. Press left twice on the camera angle. Punch once. You want to make sure the whole animation is done, because he still keeps moving just a little bit. Then press directly down. Press right camera angle, left camera angle, directly up, and then directly back. I'll do a little twist, and typically you would get the star there.
Right.
but
that's like how complicated it is.
Yes, that is the series of moves that you have to do. But if it isn't lined up correctly, I'll try it one more time. Yeah, getting up and like again with a third hop, one going straight up to the very top boss right away. That eliminates so much of this map.
Yeah, and you could spend so much time trying to get this right that for some speedrunners, it might be worth going for a different star.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But this is one of those that when you get into it, it's kind of a quick, easy star.
Back flip. Left twice. Punch. Down. Right. Left. Up. Back. Well, that's how you're supposed to do it. Of course, now that I'm on the spot, that's where we're at. But that is the series. You can look it up online. It has the exact directions of what to do correctly. I'll try it one more time. And how are we on our time? I can try to go through some other glitches. Like this
Yeah, we've got like 13 minutes.
We'll try it one more time. If not, I'll go to the stair glitch and kind of we can explain that one a little bit better.
And again, anybody that's watching, if you have any more questions, put them in the chat there. If you want to brag about your own times or what games you like to speedrun or watch speedrun.
Yeah.
If you're just somebody who likes to watch speedrunning, let us know.
There it is.
There it is. See, I think the main key for you to be able to successfully do anything is for me to not be looking.
Or
if
just
I am
talking step by step by step.
Right. I do feel like if I'm at all watching, that's when you have the most issue. Anybody else can watch. Just me.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through this game. So yeah, a couple of things of what you would want to learn how to do. Is that backwards kind of, you're running and then do a backwards flip, because it's really beneficial here, once you get out of there, just to come up there instead of going all the way up the steps. The long jump, but period, but the long jump backwards, which you just start doing that, and you can actually, I think, do a front one, and then start doing backwards jumps mid-jump forward.
Exactly what it looks like when a real life person does a backward jump.
Yeah, that happens in real life all the time.
Yeah. Get your key out.
Yeah, this is the part where you cannot do the step glitch there because this is not loaded until you get that second key.
Right. It's almost like it's probably built like actually in the game in a separate location, and they teleport you to that location. So even if you got behind that door, it would be nothing.
And this is a fairly easy glitch. If you just jump twice there, and hang on, you're just warp kind of through this stairwell. So you don't. It's not a very long stairwell to begin with, but you just kind of bypass a little bit more of the game. And sometimes when you get this stair glitch, and you can kind of hear in the audio if you've got it right off the bat. Or if you need to stop. If you hear kind of that audio and you get to there and you haven't quite gone through the door, keep it up, because sometimes you can trick the computer to the game. Unfortunately, I cannot hear that, so I can't go off of that cue.
There's an audio cue, is that what you were saying?
Yes, there's a slight audio cue, but I can still do it without. Let's see.
There it is.
So, again, I didn't quite hear it, so I couldn't pinpoint for you all exactly when that happens. So here, this is an endless staircase.
Could you just run up the staircase?
I'll just run up, here real quick. And the way they have designed the game is it's not that it's necessarily a endless staircase, because I can keep on going up this for ever and ever, and then turn back around, and I'm at the very bottom of the steps. Very cool design. But at a certain point, there's actually a warped wall, if you will, that will bring you back to here. So you'll hit that, it'll jump you back, and then you can never get it, and it unlocks once you get that 70 star.
And they just done it so seamlessly that you can't really tell.
Even on a high-def TV, I've tried to look. I mean,
yeah.
You think it'd be like, oh, it's because it's on those old CRT TVs, they got away with it. But, like, I cannot see the seam of where the one starts and then the other one goes.
Yeah.
But just much like the door and the hit collision we were talking about earlier, is the game, you trick the game into thinking you're going to collide later on past that warp spot. And you actually, a good point, I've never actually successfully been able to do it, but you want to go to the right side here when you do this, because if you do the left side and build up too much momentum, you can actually warp through the wall at the very top and end up in another stage that's in the castle behind that wall.
I think in a lot of these glitches, it's not even that they are necessarily glitches. I feel like, oh, there it goes. They're running on 64-bit, computer processing unit, and they had to find ways to house the entire game.
Yeah.
And so there are things like maybe they didn't put in a ceiling in a certain spot, thinking who's going to figure that out.
There's the limitations of its time.
Sure. Right. And that we can then just exploit to get faster runs.
So, did we have any other questions? Or?
Not on the chat. Let me see if I have any that would be good. I think we talked about...
I think we talked the actual world record.
what is the
for
world
this one? I don't know the precise time, because it starts getting by like seconds, but it is what I just did, the run of 36 minutes, someone's done in 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Which doesn't seem like a large amount of time, but I mean, I don't know how I would cut another 14 minutes out of what I just did.
Right.
And I've actually seen speed runs where someone has done that speed run in about 25 minutes using just one hand.
Okay.
So they will hold it on their lap and play the full game, 16-star run.
With one.
I mean, there's so many different variations of speed runs. People have, what's that very hard game on PS4?
The Dark Souls?
Yes. Now it's on new systems, so it's on the Switch, and people have used that exercise ring. Or like Guitar Hero controllers to beat that game. So there's all sorts of stuff out there, and all new ways people have been trying to play games.
Yeah, if people say that gamers are not creative, let them just watch a few speedruns. Okay, I think that is going to be it for our time. I just wanted to thank everybody who watched. Thank Ryan for coming out and showing us all this fun stuff. I'm going to remind you that at 12 o'clock, there is an Among Us gameplay for teens on Discord. You can go to the lfpl.org/cards and consoles page for that. And then we have our Magic tutorial at 1 o'clock. That's also going to be live, so you can come straight back to the page and it should be loaded. And then a Rocket League tournament for teens on Discord starting at 3 o'clock. You can go and sign up for that, I believe, anytime now. Once again, thank you, Ryan.
Yep, no
Way to
problem.
go, 36 minutes and 30 seconds if you need that for your book.